Edge at 11 starts now.
Tonight on The Edge, strong storms move across Metro Detroit.
You can see it right behind us. Trees and power lines are down. As you can see, plenty of outages. At last check, 39,000 DTE customers are in the dark. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack joins us live from Berkeley. Jessica, what are you seeing there?
Yeah, one of the reasons so many folks are out of power is this reason behind me. Take a look at this arcing wire. We're in Berkeley, just off Greenfield, north of 11 Mile, where this has been going on for the better part of an hour. Police have this is kind of side road blocked off, and those flames are they're getting dangerously close to a garage. Nothing quite on fire yet. That is why you see firefighters in the distance kind of monitoring this situation. Also being cautious themselves. DTE not yet out on scene. Obviously, their crew's very busy this evening. We're talking about 39,600 people without power in our area. We just left kind of the Greenfield corridor between Berkeley and Oak Park, and right around 11 Miles where it starts to get bad. You start to see lots of debris, lots of trees in the roadway. We actually just left a pretty big down tree into an apartment building. Didn't look like a ton of damage to the apartment building itself, but definitely a mess to clean up. Now we're going to look at some storm damage here. Besides the wires, you'll see a lot of this kind of in that Greenfield, 11, 12, 13 Mile road area. Lots of downed trees. Looks like some very strong winds came through here. Now, I did check in with the Southfield fire chief a little while ago, obviously being a big jurisdiction in our area. He said they're getting a lot of calls right now, but so far no injuries at this point. But again, in the distance, you can definitely hear police sirens and fire trucks echoing throughout the evening. We will continue to monitor this situation behind me. But for now, live in Berkeley, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
All right, we know you will. Thanks, Jess, for that. Severe thunderstorms also impacting Macomb County, flooding streets and breaking wires down there. In fact, in Roseville, down lines, sparking this garage fire. But the good news here, firefighters were quickly able to respond.
I've been close to lightning strikes before, but when a transformer gets hit, it's pretty loud. It's a little bit crazy, yeah, especially watching all the strikes, and a lot of them are really close.
Remember, if you see a downed power line, stay at least 25 feet away, 25 feet, and then call 911. Our heat wave does continue, and that means more of these pop-up storms could continue.
Yes, Captain Rich Luderman is here right now. And could we see a repeat tomorrow, Rich?
We will likely see some more storms tomorrow afternoon and Thursday evening. You can see around the dinner time hour, we didn't have much going on. All the storms were down in Ohio, and then they moved up to the north and east, and we have had some strong to severe storms cross the region. Gusty winds and very heavy downpours have been across Lenawee, Wayne, Oakland, Macomb counties, now up to St. Clair County. These are the last of the severe thunderstorm warnings until 11:45. A small part of Macomb and St. Clair counties. Also flood advisories along I-94, especially in Macomb County. Better than 2.5 inches of rain has fallen this evening. Now, heat advisories continue for another day, but it looks like we're going to see numbers slowly come down to end the week, except for Saturday. Saturday is going to be a hot one. Here's the latest on radar. Cluster of storms right over Lake St. Clair, around Algonac as well, up the St. Clair River. But notice how it's all peeling away to the north and east. So this will be it for severe storms over the next hour or two. Live pictures from Mount Clemens. The wind has picked up a bit. The lightning continues, but the heavy downpours, at least in Mount Clemens, have ended. 91 degrees today, the official high. The low this morning, 75. Check out the last 3 days. Monday, we hit 95. Yesterday, 90. Today, 91. The official high. Certainly, temperatures are down a bit, but the humidity remains. That'll be the case for the rest of tonight. Not a lot of wind out there outside of those storms, but 78 Fort Wayne, 82 in Chicago. There's 81 in Toronto. We're going to see one weak front pass to our north tomorrow, then a stronger front comes our way on Sunday, and that's going to end this long, hot stretch of weather. For the rest of tonight, it stays warm and muggy. Still some spotty storms in a couple of spots overnight. Tomorrow, back to 90 degrees. Afternoon storms into the evening hours, and then finally, Sunday, we're going to see numbers in the upper 80s, even cooler weather for Monday and Tuesday of next week. And we're going to check it all for you starting at 4 a.m. But remember, you can always get the latest forecast. Check it out, the Fox 2 Weather app. You can download it for free in the App Store or in Google Play, and you can do it right now. Rupen Taryn, back to you.
Well, another shooting tragedy in Detroit. A 17-year-old girl loses her life when violence breaks out at a block party.
As Fox News' Dave Kinchin tells us tonight, it's been 1 month since her death, and the shooter is still out there.
It was at 7:20 p.m. I called her, and I said, Taylor, why would you give me your car with no gas in it? So we talked about gas and everything. I had to put gas in your car, too.
Lucretia McCullough had just switched cars with her daughter, 17-year-old Taylor Gladney, who was on her way to a big party on Manning near Gratiot in Detroit on the night of May 18th. Her mom then headed to work. Gunfire would soon change everything.
I get a call at 7:52 that my baby had been shot. So she wasn't even at this party long to really even get a chance to enjoy herself.
Detroit police tell Fox 2 the shooting remains an active and ongoing investigation, and her family is hoping someone out there saw something that can help lead to an arrest and give them some closure while they sort through their emotions.
I'm kind of mad at everybody. I'm upset because I knew where the party was, and I wanted to say no, but I didn't. So sometimes I get angry at myself for allowing her to go. But you can't keep your kids in the house. And I allow her to go and something like this happens. And she was trying to do what I told her to do. Anything happens, leave. Get out of there. And she was trying to get out of there and end up not being one of the lucky ones to have a minor injury.
Taylor was placed on life support for a few days after the shooting before her family made that unspeakable decision to let her go. They take comfort in knowing she touched countless lives in her precious 17 years on Earth.
Oh my God, Taylor was just like full of life. Like it's like she never was angry with nobody. She's just Taylor. Anything that makes her happy, like cheering, getting her hair done. She signified a lot of things about her through her appearance. Like if you notice on her pictures, she always had her hair colored, so she was always just bright and full of life.
Scores of Taylor's friends turned out for a vigil and balloon release. The family says her funeral was unforgettable, with over 800 people celebrating her young life. Now they are just desperate to know who pulled the trigger that fateful night.
The guys that did this, ain't nothing I can say. I pray that someone catch them before I do, just to be honest. No, it's nothing we supposed to say, but that's how I feel. Angry, upset, hurt.
Dave Kinchin on The Edge.
Really want parents to squeal on their adult kids.
Yeah, you can call it squealing. I call it accountability.
Macomb County prosecutor Pete Lucido contemplating charges against the mother of the splash pad shooter. Even though the gunman committed the crime in Oakland County, the shooter lived with his mom in Shelby Township. Under Michigan's new red flag laws, Lucido feels it was Catherine Nash's responsibility to report her son's mental illness and gun ownership. Michael Nash shot 9 people at the Brooklyn splash pad in Rochester Hills on Saturday. 6 victims are now recovering at home. 3 victims remain hospitalized, including a 30-year-old woman, a 39-year-old mother, and her 8-year-old son. Nash killed himself during a standoff with police at his house later that day. Well, it's been nearly 14 years since 3 young brothers from Morenci went missing, and they have never been found.
Now, the mother of Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner Skelton plan on asking the courts to declare their sons dead. In a statement, Tanya Zuver says the decision came after much thought and discussion with my family and friends. It did not come lightly and was definitely a difficult decision to make. No parent wants to lose a child, but to have the courts step in and declare them deceased is just unfathomable.
She goes on to say, at the end of the day, one person is responsible for the disappearance of my sons. That person at one point claimed the boys would hibernate until they graduate. All 3 boys are now over 18 and all would have graduated high school, yet they have not been returned to me and are still missing.
Zuvers will appear in court tomorrow. In the meantime, John Skelton, the boy's father, remains behind bars and is scheduled to be released next year. Well, it's been 1 month since Ascension Health was hit by a cyber attack. Now scammers have their eyes set on auto dealership software.
And many of the dealerships use the same software company called CDK. Most of the company's systems are shut down out of caution and concern for the customers. The outage is affecting about 15,000 dealers across the country, and in Michigan, dealerships are left unable to finalize sales or register vehicles now with the Secretary of State.
We're dependent on technology, we're dependent on software, and if there's any fail point along the whole digital supply chain, it has ripple effects. That's what we're seeing with this exact example here. It's so important for every organization to pre-plan, to prepare for when these things do happen, because ultimately they do happen at some point.
CDK says they are actively investigating the cyber incident and are working to get systems running as soon as possible.
Law enforcement will never call you and ask you for money.
A new scam warning out of Macomb County. The sheriff's office says someone is calling residents posing as a lieutenant. The scammer is telling people they failed to appear for jury duty and there's a warrant out for their arrest. But it can be taken care of with money. Sheriff Wickersham wants to make everybody aware these types of phone calls are fake. Anybody who gets a call like this should reach out to the sheriff's office right away.